Hey everyone, this is Milquan Stovall, wide receiver for the University of Nevada, and you're listening to the FLOGcast Network.
Hello. Welcome back. Yes, to the FLOGcast Network. Jay Ruff in the house today. Glorious Friday morning. Getting a little bit chillier outside, but heck, that's fall weather. That's football weather. It's getting beautiful and awesome. It feels more of a fall feel outside, or more of a football feel, if you will, for these kind of days. But today, I am joined by Mr. Skinley McKinley, three-time champion. How's it going, Skin?
It's going well, Ruff. I'm happy to be here.
Back-to-back days seeing you. It's kind of weird.
Back. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Looks like you ate a couple donuts this morning compared to yesterday. Getting a little bit.
I actually did have donuts.
Shocker. Of course you did.
Hey,
all
someone brought them in. I'm not going to turn down free donuts.
Absolutely. Of course you won't.
So I can eat donuts.
Oh, gosh. Skin, let it go. Speaking of letting go, we let go Q Blount. He is not with us today. We dropped the problem.
Good riddance.
We did. Okay, but, heck, in his defense, at least he remembered, some, numbers that I set out compared to you. Well, heck, we should have cut you.
Well,
right? But we got some special injuries today to go over, so we had to bring you on.
Yeah, I actually.
Q doesn't really do good with injuries.
He doesn't do anything for this podcast at all. So
yeah, he sure doesn't. Heck, screw him. But today is an important day. We got a game to go over, and like I said, we got an injury report. Lots of injuries to go through today. Skin, last night, shocking, was an interesting and fun game to watch. The quarterback, Skin, kind of surprised me. I know we kind of talked about yesterday, kind of making fun of the situation. Jacoby Brissett and, Mitchell Trubisky is not two guys that I will, throw $100 bills to go watch. But it was fun. It was a good game, close throughout. Again, the score doesn't really show, but they scored that last touchdown at the end. Heck, if you had the Browns defense, I bet you were a little bit excited about seeing that touchdown there. But Skin, any surprises here that this game was actually fun to watch?
Yeah, I mean, just that. I was surprised that I had a good time watching this game, to be quite honest. Honestly, I thought Mitch Trubisky played pretty well. I thought Jacoby Brissett played very efficiently. I don't think he made any super splash plays, but, I mean, he got it out to their best wide receiver quite a few times. And, man, Nick Chubb, this kind of hurts me to say, but I'm going to say it. Nick Chubb is the best running back in the NFL.
He is. I think he is.
He's better than Jonathan Taylor. He's better than Derrick Henry. And
I don't know about Jonathan Taylor.
I would call it a 1A, 1B, with Chubb being 1A, Jonathan Taylor being 1B.
So far this year, yes.
Well, but I mean.
So we're going to, and we'll just go ahead and start with Cleveland because they won.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could tell, Skin, what their game, both of these guys had game plans were, and that was, the run the ball, give the ball to Harris and Chubb. Chubb ran the ball 23 times, 113 yards. That's 2 games out of 3 that he's had over 100 yards. And he did get a touchdown in there. But like you said, Brissett, he looked like he was in rhythm. He was in his flow. Again, he threw the ball a lot towards his best players, and that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, it really is. Amari Cooper caught the ball 7 times, but also targeted 11. and he over 100 yards. But what I did like, kind of like a little star on this Cleveland Browns team, David Njoku. He looked good. Last 2 weeks, no splashes were there, but heck, he was highly targeted. Only one target less than Amari Cooper, their best receiver, Skin.
Yeah.
Were you shocked at all about this?
Yeah, this one shocked me. I think Njoku kind of had that sleeper category in the tight end position because they got rid of Austin Hooper in the offseason, going to my Titans. Not doing much so far, but anyway, Njoku has always been an athletic freak of nature, and it's just about getting him the ball. So props to Kevin Stefanski. His game plan was pretty much on point. They did what they wanted to yesterday, and Njoku looked very athletic, and I think they need to keep him involved with that offense for them to keep busting out some wins. So
I agree, and I'm sure that his percentage in multiple leagues will go up when it comes to roster, because he definitely looked good and he looked heavily involved in that offense. But again, like I said, Nick Chubb, they just fed him the ball, and 23 carries, like I mentioned, but he caught that. He got that end zone touchdown in the fourth quarter, that helped him out. But so you said you think it's Nick Chubb on top, running back category.
Yeah, the dude, and they don't split 50-50, but he loses a lot of snaps to Kareem Hunt as well. And Kareem Hunt's no scrub either, so I understand why. But if Nick Chubb got the workload and the snap percentages that Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry got, it would not be fair. And, I think it's a great thing because it helps keep Nick Chubb healthy. And Kareem Hunt is obviously very, very good as a backup as well. But, they do like to take Chubb out in the red zone. And they got Kareem Hunt 3 carries from the 3 and in, and he just couldn't convert until they brought in Nick Chubb to finish it off. So, that does hurt Chubb's fantasy value. But, man, just watching those jump cuts, Nick Chubb running the ball, powering through guys, keeping those legs churning, man, that is a thing of beauty. He plays the running back position like it should be played.
He looks good. Definitely does. 3 games played already. He has 4 touchdowns. That's halfway there to what he had last year with 8. He had 8 last year. But again, that wasn't a bad year. He, definitely doing pretty good so far. 3 games in for Nicholas Chubb. And like you said, he did put up 17.3 fantasy points in our league. But like you said, Hunt, he put up 7.6. But he definitely he should not be a backup, Skin. I truly believe he should not be. He should be starting multiple teams here. Both of these guys should be putting high numbers on different teams. But that's just, again, I've been saying this for a while, Browns are geniuses. They really are. You have 2 number 1 running backs. You do. And, having that, in the outside fantasy world, this is a genius move. It really is. So, all right. Any other surprises or anything you want to talk about for the Cleveland Browns, Skin?
Yeah, Amari Cooper starting to put it together. He looks good with, I was always a little concerned when Deshaun Watson's suspension was coming up, but, Cooper has looked really good with Jacoby Brissett, and he's getting open. Man, it just kind of makes me question, and I get that Dallas had to get rid of him because of his contract, but man, Cleveland stole him from Dallas. So Amari's worth every penny that they're paying, and he looks very good. And props to Benzing for taking him. Relatively
no props to Benzing here. No, nothing. You draft him in a good 6th round or something, and then you keep him on the bench back-to-back weeks. No props there. The dude went off last week, and he's still picking Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs over Amari Cooper. No,
fair.
Take that back.
Fair. All right.
Props,
fair.
Scotty. Heck, and yet here he is in our group chat bragging about, what a great 6th round pick. He's on your bench, Scotty. Yep. Don't be bragging about someone who's on your bench, for goodness McNug.
Fair enough.
I
think he learned his lesson.
We don't know. We will see next week. Knowing Scotty, No, I will not be surprised. I'm getting my tomato. I'm throwing it at the Scotty bus because that was a bad move. It was. And I kind of said that last time. Like, why is he not starting Cooper over Josh Jacobs and Miles Sanders? Makes no sense to me.
Yeah. No,
What heck?
you called it. You called it.
I'm the genius, Skin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a genius.
Stop trading your picks away, and I'd actually say
that. Yeah, heck. The Pittsburgh Steelers, like we mentioned, Trubisky didn't look bad. No touchdowns, but no interceptions there. 20 for 32 in the air, 207 yards. But Najee Harris, 15 carries, 56 yards, 1 touchdown. I do believe he gave Scotty in half PPR league only 11.6 fantasy points. Any concerns here? Now, heck, right now, Harris is 21, ranked running back. He hasn't had Skin that big old splash of a year. That was his best game of the year so far. 11.6. The week before he had 11.4. The week before that 9.6. So again, no big splashes here. That touchdown was Harris's first touchdown. Now that we're in year 2 here. Any concerns here for this guy in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, there are some concerns, that's for sure. Mainly because of the team around him and that offensive line. But it looks like we just got a message that Keegan just followed on Twitch. So thanks for that.
Hey, Keegan.
Hey,
buddy.
So
let's talk crap about him then. Huh?
Yeah,
that's always fun, isn't it?
Yeah, you're used to that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah. Benzing has to be a little discouraged in terms of his production. Najee Harris last year was getting a little bit more of a workload and definitely getting some more receptions with Big Ben back there. And Trubisky isn't as much of a dump off, check down type of guy, especially with the team around him. So, in the long term, no, I don't think Benzing should be concerned. But, that as a keeper, he wants more production out of Harris than what he's getting, plain and simple. So outside of that, though, in the long term, Najee Harris is a great player. There's nothing to be concerned about. But the Steelers need to shore up that offensive line a little bit more for Benzing to probably feel a little more comfortable.
I am going to say this. Now, of course, there possibly no concerns here for Harris owners because, heck, I own some Harris in some other leagues as well. But I can't tell you this, Skin, because you picked him up. I believe he's still on your roster. Jaylen Warren. I know, heck, he only carried the ball 4 times. But in those 4 carries, heck, man, they look good. He's explosive, speedy little running back. He's a rookie, and from Oklahoma State, undrafted. And he looked pretty good. He did fumble it once, but it was recovered by Johnson, I believe. Just poked out of his hands there. But, this guy, he could see more carries, more than 4, than he did last night.
Yeah, I think as long as Najee Harris is healthy, then I don't think Jaylen Warren is going to be pushing for any.
He's a good stash though. Like
he
what
is.
You're doing.
The moment Najee Harris goes down, he's going to be used as a workhorse. I believe that's why I stashed him. And so he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to be pushing to take away snaps. But I agree. Harris got a little bit banged up week 1, and that's kind of why they're still going to give him a few for the next few weeks, I believe. So.
Yep, I agree. All right, Skin. I hit the X button on one of these things. Next player. Heck, let's talk about their wide receivers. Anybody standing out here for these guys?
We got to start off if we're going to talk about the Steelers wide receivers. We got to start off with that catch from George Pickens last night. Good Lord. Very reminiscent of the Odell Beckham, the catch, full extension, backwards, grabbing one-handed, just naughty. Absolutely.
In the future,
naughty.
Skin, we're getting our producer, Quentin Blau on the back screen here. He's doing a great job. And in the future, we'll do a video of that.
Yeah.
Showing that. And
showing the highlights. Just up on the screen. But
absolutely. That was just a beautiful catch.
If you have not seen it, go to YouTube right now and type in George Pickens catch. It's going to come right up. It is disgusting.
Now, that was pretty much the only thing he did.
Yeah.
He got the ball 3. He was targeted second most on the team last night, 7. But caught him 3 for 39 yards. But that catch, if you compare the Pickens catch that we saw last night I mean, he caught it with his whole hand. But, with Odell, dude, Odell caught it with like his fingers, like 3 fingers he caught and swiped it back. But nothing taken away from that Pickens catch. That was beautiful. Well done for the rookie there.
Yeah, and I guess he complained a little bit about, being open and Mitch not getting him the ball. I would personally prefer as a rookie for them to keep that stuff in-house. If you got a problem, then take it to your quarterback, take it to your coaches. You don't need to be going out in the media and saying that. So I get it. Pickens obviously has that alpha dog mentality. He wants the ball, and I respect that, especially as a rookie. And he wants to be a playmaker, but if the ball gets thrown to him and it touches his hands, he better catch it, because he had a few drops last night as well, and had a mental mistake at the end of the game too, during the onside kick. So you can't be spouting off and then making those types of mistakes. So between him and Deontay Johnson, there were a fair share of drops. And so if I'm Mitch Trubisky, man, I probably would have been laying into them a little bit, but Mitch is kind of where he's at in his career, and I don't necessarily know if he has the leverage and the cojones to quite do that.
Right. Deontay Johnson was targeted 11 times, caught it 8 for 84 yards. No touchdowns, but he did put up 12.4 fantasy points in half PPR. Not bad for Q there. And when it comes to anybody else, Chase Claypool only caught it 3 times out of 6 targets for 35 yards. And I do believe he's still, was that TC? Oh, yeah, TC. Oh, boy. TC, he actually moved, thank goodness, he moved him out of his starting lineup.
Okay.
So he's sitting there peacefully on his bench, which he should right now.
Yeah.
Claypool hasn't really done much this year. Will he turn it on this year? I mean, again, a younger guy. We thought he was going to have a breakout year last week, but last 3 games, all under 10 points. So
yeah, I just think there's too many mouths to feed and not a high-powered enough offense, with Mitch leading the charge and that offensive line not being very good. So I really don't have high hopes for Chase Claypool. I mean, he may have a few good boom games, but he's not a consistent guy that I would feel comfortable keeping in my lineup. Deontay Johnson's really the only one in that receiver room that I would feel comfortable playing week in and week out. And you had Pat Freiermuth playing last night as well. Boy almost put up a goose egg until that very last drive.
He did. I honestly thought he was going to.
Yeah.
Yep. And I have a couple shares of old Patty, and he it was a little bit disappointing. But heck, you know what? I will take anything that is given to me. I mean, he gave me what? 5 points. Gonna hit another button. But I mean, better than 0. I've seen too many goose eggs on my roster already.
Yeah. And I think they need to get Pat involved a little bit more in that offense a little bit too.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it could have been a game plan of, for Cleveland to take away that tight end option there. So any other guys here, Skinley, that you want to talk about or go over? I think we went through a lot of them.
I think that's pretty much everybody that's fantasy relevant. I don't necessarily think the Steelers are a playoff team, but I'm excited to see, what happens when Kenny Pickett gets the nod to go in. It may be in a few weeks. It may not be till next year, but I know Mitch is battling, and I kind of respected how hard he was slinging it last night.
I do think it's going to happen this year. Yeah, I really do. I think it's going to happen sometime. But again, Trubisky didn't really make any big mistakes, I guess, last night. No turnovers. So, it's, again, that game was kind of like in their palm, and they kind of let it loose. So I think maybe give it a couple more weeks, but it's going to happen, Skin.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, Pickett's, he's their future. But again, Trubisky, respect. Respect. Absolutely. Okay, Skin. So that's it for last night's game. We are going to set up here, and we're going to go. We got some injuries to go over.
We have quite a few injuries.
We got a couple injuries that we did not go through yesterday, but we are going to go through them today, and we're going to set that up, and we'll go to the old Skinley McKinley injury report is what I'm calling it. Sounds good. We're into it.
Yeah,
the old Skinley McKinley injury report. Pretty fun. 1 second.
All right, so let's go start through the first matchup here. We'll just start off with us. We're on the podcast.
I mean, come on.
Why not start off with us, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's start off with my lineup first here. I've got a few guys with a questionable mark. Luckily, nobody that's in my lineup at the moment, but J.K. Dobbins. As we all know, anybody
what is it?
owns J.K. Dobbins has probably been keeping up with this, but he is coming off a significant knee injury. Just came out recently that he said not only did he tear his ACL, but he tore his LCL, which is on the outside of the knee, the meniscus, which is a little padding inside the knee, and his hamstring, all in that injury. So, that is a significant blow. And so, he is really pushing hard to play, but I think the team is definitely holding out for his long-term health, and I think that's the smart thing to do. If you're a J.K. Dobbins owner, you're going to have to be patient. I personally don't think he's going to be back this week. And if he does, he's going to be on a snap count, and he should be on a snap count for his first couple weeks. So even if he's healthy and ready to go, do not put him in your lineups. You're going to have to wait a little bit. So I hope everything's well. I know he wants to get on the field, and hopefully it happens soon. But
so Skin, I have a few shares of old Dobbins. So if he plays Sunday, don't start him.
Do not start him. Do not start him. And I mean, it's one of those things. He could get a touchdown, but I just don't think his workload is going to be anywhere near full. If you have absolutely nobody, okay, but he could get 10 touches. It's just one of those things. You really don't know what they're going to do, and they have Lamar to run the ball as well. So I would hold off.
Right? It'll be lightly used if anything.
Correct. Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely on a snap count. So, second guy, two other guys I have on my IR spots. Michael Gallup, again returning from an ACL tear that happened January 2nd. Sounds like he's close. Sounds like he has a chance to play this week. But again, Dallas has already said he will be on a snap count when he returns. So again, if you have Michael Gallup, keep him on your bench. Even if he's healthy and ready to go this week, keep him on your bench. So he's still going to be ramping up to play, and especially coming off an ACL tear, it usually takes a few weeks to get your footing under you and those full velocity type cuts. So hold off on Michael Gallup. Don't put him in your lineups yet.
Here's the thing, though. Are people going to go absolutely nuts to even grab this guy? Because here's the thing. I mean, as we all know, Dak is gone. So, I mean, he really, and I think you said this yesterday, Skin. He really got that Noah Brown guy involved because of, Cooper Rush and Noah Brown, in practice, they had that chemistry.
Yeah.
So, Michael Gallup gets in there. I mean, is he going to be even a flex option? I don't think so. I mean, you would think CeeDee Lamb would turn it up just one notch or two.
Yeah, you would think, but I mean, when Gallup was healthy, he was clear-cut number 2 wide receiver on this team. And I'll go over
pre-injury.
Right, pre-injury. And I'll go over Dak's injury report here, but he's not going to be out for very long. He's going to be back here soon. So Dak and Michael Gallup had some good rapport, so I'm not expecting Cooper Rush to be in there for much longer, to be honest.
Okay.
So we'll hit on that a little bit later here.
All right.
The last guy I have is Rondell Moore. Very injury-prone guy, just kind of sitting on my bench. I'm waiting to see what he does. With Arizona, you just don't know. Because Hopkins was suspended, I felt like it was a good pickup to maybe stash and see how they use him. But it does not sound like he's going to play this week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's not going to play this week.
No. Sounds like he's not playing. Can't get over that hamstring injury, and especially a guy whose game is built on speed. That hamstring is going to need to be fully healed before he gets back. So I think he's out another week.
Here's my door to Bash Keegan Scott. Just
there you
opened
go.
Up. Mm-hmm. Now you said hamstring injury. Of course, those don't sound enjoyable. But was that for a younger wide receiver who, of course, Hopkins is out for a few games? Should he have dropped Mr. Moore, his guy from Purdue? Even this hamstring injury, did he see the hamstring injury and just like pee down his pants and cry? He got scared. I wouldn't. I had some Moores, and I did not drop him. And you did the smart thing. You picked him up for $0, and you put him on your IR spot.
Yeah.
All right. Is that hamstring too scary, or is that?
Well, in Keegan, so the only reason I'd say Keegan kind of had to do it is because week 1, his team kind of got obliterated. He had Elijah Mitchell, Dak both go out, where his IR spots were full. So that's the only reason I'm giving him out. But I think Rondale Moore's upside was enough for me. I was excited when I saw Keegan dropped him because I knew I'd go right after him. But
I know I should have snagged him.
But not only is Rondale Moore not playing this week, it sounds like he could be out a couple more weeks still.
Okay.
So
I mean, that was your door also kind of helped me get him, but
yeah,
that's fine.
Yep, you took it when you can. So all right, let's go over your roster here. So you've got a few guys on question marks, and I wouldn't say they're big contributors by any means, which is a good thing, right? There's really only 3 receivers you've got here. Alec Pierce, rookie from the Colts, second straight practice that he has played yesterday and the day before, coming back from a concussion. Sounds like he's going to be good to go. So again, he's going to sit on your bench, and you're just going to wait to see what he gives you. Devin Duvernay also dealing with a concussion. He was limited Thursday. He's still going to need to clear the NFL's protocol before he gets back on. Don't think you're going to start him or anything, but this would be one to monitor and see whether he clears that protocol before Sunday. Sounds like he could, though. He has a good chance. Last guy who you've stashed all offseason, Velus Jones Jr. here, also dealing with a hamstring injury. And as we said before, like Rondale, his game is built on speed. Those hamstrings are tough when that's your job. So he has practiced in back-to-back days, was limited yesterday, but it sounds like he's looking to make his NFL debut on Sunday.
Let's go.
Yep. So I know our other Flog member, Connor Limback, will be excited to see that. So,
and you know what, though? I'm kind of surprised that I have received 0 offers for him from Mr. Connor Limback. That kind of shocks me.
Well, now that his Justin Fields stance has changed a little bit.
And now he's actually going to play.
Yeah.
So that might.
You never know.
Heck, I might expect a text here soon.
But, you got to be happy with your lineup having very little question marks there.
Yeah. Yeah, knock on wood. Come on. Don't jinx me now, Skin.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to the next matchup. The 0-2 Savage Patch Kids and the 1-1 Philadelphia Queefles here. So both have significant injuries on their teams. Let's start with the Quentin Blount's Philadelphia Queefles. He's got some big names with Q's by their names. DeAndre Swift, ankle, very similar to last week. He was limited in practice, but Dan Campbell has pretty much said he's in a better spot now than he was at this time last week. So he's improving. They do this all year long with DeAndre Swift. They want to keep him healthy, and they want to give him the workload. So he's fine. He's going to play on Sunday, and he's probably going to get a decent workload. So no issues with DeAndre Swift. Q's got to be very happy about that. Christian McCaffrey popped up on the injury report with an ankle as well. Sounds like it was just stiffness in the ankle after the game. Wasn't anything serious. McCaffrey even joked about it himself. He said, I could go take a pee and I'd end up on the injury report. So, thought that was pretty funny. Clearly, he's going to play on Sunday. So good news there all around for Blount for his running backs. His not so good news with Chris Godwin still dealing with the hamstring injury. I personally believe they pushed him to get back too quickly from his ACL tear in the offseason. And, so he tweaked his hamstring week 1. He's been out ever since. He did not practice Thursday, and he's trending towards not playing this Sunday as well. I think the team is going to be playing it safe with this, especially because him coming off that ACL tear as well. So, man, the Bucs wide receiver core here, oh, boy.
So, that kind of led into what we were talking about yesterday with what Q said with Julio Jones. And should Connor Limback be starting Julio Jones? Now I think it's something to consider because there's no Mike Evans. There's no Godwin. So who's to go to?
Is Julio going to even play? There might be no Julio Jones.
Exactly. And I'm sure you go over that.
I will.
It's whew.
Heck. That's a rough one for Tom Brady. So, the Bucs receiving core as of now, yesterday, Russell Gage, Scotty Miller, Brashad Perriman were all limited, but looks like all three of those will be good to go. And I'm under the assumption that Cole Beasley will be elevated to the 53-man roster and will make his Buccaneers debut next week or this Sunday.
Good for him.
Yeah. The last one there on Quentin's team would be Keenan Allen. He was also limited Thursday. This was his back-to-back practices where he was limited. Sounds like he's going to be a game-time decision at this point. Also dealing with a hamstring injury. This is one that if you're Quentin, you got to monitor up until game time. And it's a 4:05 start, so that can be a little bit tricky. But I believe he's going to be questionable going into Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And Q does have him in his starting lineup at the moment.
At the moment, he's probably listening and changing it right now.
I don't know about changing it because, I mean, I don't know who else he'd really put in there if he wants to go Devin Singletary again. But
Allen Robinson?
Yeah, Allen Robinson.
I mean, I guess that's his next best option.
Yeah.
We were talking about him possibly releasing MVS, so I don't know if he'll start him. But I mean, it would be Allen over Elijah Moore. I don't know if there's trust there yet, but I mean, heck, we'll see if that will, like you said, continue to monitor that.
Yeah. So TC's team here, Justin Herbert, as we all saw on Thursday night, he got crushed a few times. So playing with fractured ribs. I think this one is going to be another one that needs to be monitored. Knowing Herbert, I think he's going to gut it out and play, but I believe he is also going to be questionable up until game time. So TC will want to keep a close eye on this one in case he needs to slip in another quarterback there. Rib fractures for a quarterback, when you're rotating and twisting through that trunk and then trying to throw on top of that.
How do you play with that, Skin?
It's just pain management. I mean, there's no way he can really get hurt worse unless he takes a shot there again. But, and he'll probably take some shots. Jacksonville's pass rushers are no joke. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's gonna get some pain meds and go through it. It's just one of those. It's just a lot of pain management for him. So I personally, my gut is saying that he's going to play, but TC will want to monitor it.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got Alvin Kamara there, who's also dealing with rib injuries. This one, I have no concern. It doesn't sound like it's going to be multi-week. It sounds like they were playing it safe last week by holding him out. So I believe Alvin Kamara will be good to go on Sunday. So good news for TC there.
Do you still start him?
I mean, if TC's roster, he's got to. I mean,
TC's, yeah.
If you're anyone else and you have Kamara, I also believe you have to start him. I think he's that.
You could consider AJ Dillon. Against, I know it was against Tampa Bay, but I mean, if he had to choose, AJ Dillon wouldn't be a bad option.
Yeah, I still say even not 100% Alvin Kamara, you got to go with him personally.
Okay. All right.
TC's also got Dalton Schultz there. Sounds like he sprained his MCL. He's most likely going to be out this week. Doesn't sound like it's going to be much further than that. Might be a week or two. Dalton Schultz will probably be back in there sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dawson Knox popped up on the injury report with a foot injury. Doesn't sound like it's too concerning. He practiced in limited fashion yesterday. Most likely going to play.
Okay. Moving on to the next matchup, Skin. We got two more left.
Yep, CD Lamb, or CD's Nuts, and Magic Skull Bus. Couple other big-name guys here. Let's start with Benzing's team, 2-0, the CD's Nuts. Michael Pittman, big news here for Benzing. Michael Pittman tweaked his quad. Sounds like it may have been in practice. Not sure here. There's been some whispers. He was not willing to talk about it. But he logged his second straight day of limited practices. Sounds like he is going to be playing. So Colts will be back with Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce in that wide receiver room on Sunday. So good news for the Colts there because Lord knows they need some wide receiver help. Josh Jacobs popped up on the injury report with an illness. Again, I would say monitor this one, but it doesn't sound too concerning. I believe he will probably play. But again, you want to look on Friday to see whether he's out again with illness. Kind of monitor how things go. But my guess is Josh Jacobs will end up playing on Sunday. Another good news for Mr. Benzing. George Kittle. George Kittle is back. Sounds like he's good to go. Practiced him in limited fashion yesterday. As long as he gets at least another limited day in today, he is most likely playing week 3 versus the Broncos. So that's big news for Benzing there. And with Jimmy,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and with Jimmy G back, they've played with each other for a few years. So yeah.
Does he start Kittle over Higbee?
I personally would, but that's just me. I think Kittle too much of a game breaker to not.
I agree.
Last couple guys, he had Jacoby Myers and Alan Lazard both dealing with knee injuries. Jacoby Myers did not practice yesterday. This was his second day of not practicing, so not looking great for Jacoby Myers. I'm guessing he's probably going to be out, but Friday will tell us. Today's practice or injury report will tell us a little bit more. So if you're Benzing, you want to monitor that. I don't think he's going to be in a starting lineup either way, though. But if you have Nelson Aguilar in deeper leagues, he may get some more targets. Alan Lazard did not practice as well. Again, kind of the same deal. Still kind of seems like it's up in the air. Friday's injury report will tell you more if he gets even any work in. If those guys, neither of them practice Friday, you can basically count them out for Sunday most likely. So, again, not going to be in Benzing's starting lineup, and I would not touch any Packers wide receiver no matter what. So that's just me. Magic Skull Bus here. Gabe Davis. Man, this has been a tough one, but ankle injury was out last week, kind of popped up late on the injury report. He did practice in limited fashion. Sounds like his ankle was heavily taped, but he sounds like he came out of practice feeling good, and he's trending towards playing against the Dolphins. Now, this is a big one because Byron Jones, the second corner on the Dolphins team, is on IR. So it's a third-string corner that's going to be matched up against Gabe Davis. So he really is going to have a good matchup because I'm expecting Xavier Howard to pretty much shadow Stephon Diggs all day long. So Gabe Davis has a good matchup. So if he plays, I would consider putting him in your lineup. So outside of that, yeah, go ahead.
In Keegan's shoes?
In Keegan's shoes, maybe not. Just because his lineup is pretty well stacked up there. But yeah, in other fantasy leagues, if you need Gabe Davis to go, you may be able to get him in. So TJ Hawkinson was limited with a hip injury. Sounds like he should play. Dak Prescott, here's the one, broke his right thumb. Sounds like he practiced yesterday, did not throw a football, and it's all going to be about that grip, whether he can grip that ball and how soon that comes back. But it sounds like he was gripping a weighted ball and tossing that yesterday in practice, but not throwing. They're expecting a week 4 or week 5 return for Dak. So that was a little shorter than what we anticipated. There's a lot of things that can happen in that time, but Dak should be back relatively soon. I guess that's why Jerry Jones didn't put him on IR. So Keegan should be happy about that.
Yeah, and keep your eye on him in other leagues. I had another bozo in a league, dropped him.
Wow.
Snagged him up.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So keep your eye up if he's still available.
Let's run through this last matchup real quick here. We've got Brownie Batter, Mr. Lindback, 1-1, and Terry's Terrorists, 0-2. We touched on Julio Jones. He did not practice yesterday. So he is probably going to be questionable going into Sunday. It's one of those things with Julio. You just never know. I think if you're Connor, you've got to monitor this situation up until game time and see. I would be checking injury report for today to see whether he gets even any sort of limited work in coming from that knee injury. So, if you're Connor, you'd really want Julio out there because they're obviously missing Mike Evans from suspension. And Chris Godwin doesn't sound like he's going to play. So if Julio's there, you might want to toss him in your lineup.
Toss him over Renfro, you think? I mean, again, it's still kind of scary with him not practicing yesterday. And you know what I'm saying? Julio Jones.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, even if they say he's going to play, is he, good enough to be your second flex spot over Renfro?
Yeah, I mean, it's close. And again, so this is another one. Renfro is also dealing with a concussion. He's missed the last 2 practices. So again, he's going to have to monitor both situations because Renfro is going to have to clear the NFL's concussion protocol to get back. So I think he's going to have to constantly be monitoring these and see who comes out and is able to play at game time. And, Hunter Renfro plays at 1, Julio plays at 4:05. So, yeah, he's gonna have to be on this one up until kick.
Well, heck, both guys are out. He'll probably have to throw good old Juju in there.
Yep, have to give Juju another run. So
or give Mooney go back to the moon.
Yep.
Heck,
he's in a tough spot with that. That's for sure.
Well,
but Terry's Terrorists, last team here, has quite a few question marks with a lot of big names. Leonard Fournette, limited yesterday with a hamstring injury. My gut is saying that he will play. It sounds like the Bucs are probably managing this injury and are going to give him a few days off here and there to keep that healthy. But my gut's saying Leonard Fournette will be good to go, and he'll probably get a massive workload. James Conner with his ankle injury was also limited yesterday, but at least he got on the field for some work. I would say for Marcus, this is, again, one that he's going to need to monitor up until game time, but I think it's trending in the right direction. James Conner, it's always tough. He is pretty injury prone, and early in the season, they may want to play it safe. If they do that, sounds like Darrell Williams and Benjamin. Benjamin will be getting some work too. So yeah, you can look out for that. If he gets ruled out, you might want to snag up any of those guys. But Jerry Jeudy had a tough injury where he fell on the ball and then a defender fell on him. So those ribs, probably not feeling great. They call it a chest and sternum injury. He did not practice Thursday. My gut is saying that he's going to be out because as a wide receiver, you're going to take some shots there and him having to reach up and twist for those balls. My gut is saying he's going to be out. But again, one that is going to need to be monitored, and it's tough because he plays that Sunday night game. So if he doesn't get a ruling, Marcus is going to have to be prepared. If you own Jerry Jeudy, one suggestion is it sounds like KJ Hamler will be back. If you want to wait and you have to wait, and if Jeudy gets ruled out, you could slide in KJ Hamler right in there.
All right.
Outside of that, we already know Mike Evans is suspended on Marcus's team for 1 game for fighting with Marshawn Lattimore. I expect them to fight again when they play each other later in the season because they always do. But yeah, I mean, Mike Evans, out 1 game. It's Tom Brady. What's he supposed to do, right? That's what he said. He's got to defend him. So, but yeah, and then I wanted to dive in a little bit on Trey Lance's injury. Obviously, he's out for the year with a broken ankle. He broke his fibula bone, so it's not your direct shin bone, but it's that small bone right outside of your shin. And so either way, he's done for the year. It's nothing super serious, pretty standard recovery, but man, that quarterback room is going to be interesting to see how it plays out going into next offseason. So,
right. And it sucks, man, because it sucks for the kid, because it also sucks for us because we don't know how good he is. If he's up to that hype that we all thought he was going to be, now we've got to wait another year to see. And heck, man,
49ers can't watch him either to determine that. So they're in a tough spot for sure. So
absolutely,
Jimmy G is a solid pickup. I mean, in deeper fantasy leagues, but I think that helps Debo's stock a little bit, maybe George Kittle's stock a little bit, maybe some of those other receivers, and really the running back. So Jeff Wilson, I think his stock ticked up a little bit because they don't have Trey Lance, his rushing ability taking away from some of them. So.
Right. Absolutely. Skin, we did it.
We did it.
We did it. What a great Skinley McKinley injury report there today. I mean, it was great. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Skin. We'll bring you on hopefully next week and go through a little injury report there. But appreciate that. Appreciate your time. You got any last words?
Nope. Good luck this weekend. Stay healthy. It's going to be a fun weekend of football.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, Skin, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for listening. You have listened to the FLOGcast Network. Everybody stay safe.
Hey everyone, this is Melquan Stovall, wide receiver for the University of Nevada, and you're listening to the FLOGcast Network.